Our project today is a 2006 Toyota Tundra four-wheel drive, doing brake pads and rotors on the front. We need to remove the wheel, of course, and make sure the vehicle is securely on jack stands, and then we'll be removing these pins. The cotter pin first, top and bottom, and then these wire clips, and pull and remove these pins, top and bottom. Get yourself a pair of needle nose pliers so you can bend these cotter pins and reuse them. If they're damaged or rusted or missing, you can pick up a pair of tiny cotter pins from AutoZone or someplace like that. As you can see, the cotter pins are bent just one leg, so as you turn the pin over, you can see need to straighten that leg and then pull it directly out. Cotter pin and needle nose pliers. Okay, the cotter pins are out, so we should be able to slide these pins and make sure that you don't lose the clip. Slide these pins right out toward the outside, and then we'll use our needle nose to pull the pins out, and we'll place them with the cotter pins. Top, and looks like the bottom is fairly loose, so we'll pull that out. Okay, now we're ready to pry the calipers apart so we can slide them off, loosen them and slide them off. Before you spread the calipers to remove the pads, you might want to check your level of your reservoir, brake fluid reservoir, and if it's at the high end, you should probably use something like a turkey baster to pull some of that fluid out so you don't overflow it and make a mess all around your inside your engine compartment. Mechanics will tell you not to use a screwdriver to pry your calipers open, but there's a edge right near the bottom that'll keep you out of damaging the rotors, and allow you to just ease those calipers back a little bit at a time, and they'll open right up. That fluid will go right back in the reservoir, so there's no need to readjust or bleed the brake lines or anything complicated like that. Okay, I've turned the wheel a little bit to the outside of the vehicle so that I can get under here a little bit easier. We need to loosen this bolt here, and that will free the brake line. And then I've made myself a little hanger here to hang the caliper on so that you don't put any weight or any tension on that brake line. And then you need to loosen this bolt here and this bolt here, and that will free the caliper. This brake line bolt is a 13 millimeter, and these two larger bolts here holding the caliper on are 17 millimeter. Okay, now that you have broken those the two 17 millimeter bolts on top and the bottom of the caliper, and you've loosened your brake line, don't try not to bend that line or interfere with the sensor on the back of that. Then you're ready to slide the brake pads out. One, and two out. And now we're ready to pull those bolts, those 17 millimeter bolts, and hang the caliper on something so you keep the pressure off the brake line while you put the rotors on. See, I've got a little hanger here, aluminum rod that I'm using to support that caliper, and ready to take the rotor off. I've got a lug nut holding it so it doesn't fall off. And off they go. Now, this needs to be cleaned up real good so that it doesn't produce any additional rust under there. Now that's cleaned and ready to install the new rotor. Okay, new rotor is in place, and I used a couple of 4 lug nuts to snug it up, make sure it's up on the hub and against the back seal like it's supposed to be. And we're ready to reinstall our caliper. Okay, the 2 caliper bolts are in place, but don't forget to replace the 12 millimeter bolt in the brake line and tighten that up. Now you can install the new pads, 1 and 2. Okay, and replace your pins. Making sure that you replace that safety clip on the inside down towards the brake pad, like so. Here's a proper pin installation. Notice the edges of the pin and the clip are inside and in their proper place. Now replace the cotter pin. Make sure that you, when you put that cotter pin back in, you bend one leg over so it won't pop out or drop out. And then replace the one on the bottom. Replacing the cotter pin in the bottom pin, like so. Alright, you can reinstall the wheel and tighten the lugs. And now you're ready to repeat the process on the other side of the truck. I hope you found this video useful, and maybe I'll post another one when I do some more maintenance.